All right, in lesson 5.2, we are going to learn how to graph linear equations, mostly in standard form, when given an x and a y intercept. Before we can do that, we have to understand what an x and a y intercept is. So, an x-intercept is the point where y equals 0 and the line crosses x-axis. Okay, so your x-intercept is where it intercepts the x-axis. Your y-intercept is when x equals 0 and the line crosses the y-axis. Okay, so let's look at the x-intercept for the first one. It's the point where y equals 0. So we go on our graph, we find y equals 0, and we scan over, and we see an x-intercept. I'm going to use the correct color. We see an x-intercept when x equals 2, y equals 0. So our x-intercept would be 2, 0, or just x equals 2. Now our y-intercept is when x equals 0 and it crosses the y-axis, which is right here at the point x equals 0 and y is equal to -3. So our y-intercept is 0, -3. Now when you write them as a coordinate, every single time for your x-intercept, you'll see a y value of 0, and every single time for your y-intercept, you'll see an x value of 0. So now let's look at our second question. So x-intercept is where y is 0. We can estimate that point to be about -1.5, 0. So x-intercept at -1.50. Now for our y-intercept, we scroll down and we should see that that is at the point 0, -3. And now for our last one. Remember, x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. And here we see that this line is going to go on forever in both directions. So there is no x-intercept, so does not exist. Now for the y-intercept, we can see that it crosses all the way up here at the point 0, 4. So our y-intercept is 4, or as a coordinate 0, 4.